Dudleys one last time. Let's finish up this episode of After Dark really, really strong. Do you want to see Chris Jericho back in the WWE? One of my favorites. Going to Virginia, talking to Natalie. Natalie, my dear, do you want to see Chris Jericho back in the WWE?
Hi, Billy. Yes, I do want to see Chris Jericho back in the WWE. Chris is getting older, and he's probably approaching retirement. And what better place to Chris finish up his career than WWE? He can make some people, and, he can just have a good run of it. There's no shortage of people he can wrestle, so I'm all for Chris going back.
Natalie, how did you feel about the caller earlier who said that Chris was stale?
Wanted to know what he was smoking and drinking, because Chris Jericho is a lot of things, but stale is not the word I would use for Chris. Highly animated, yes, but stale, no, never stale.
Yeah, I don't think a stale was a good word to describe Chris. Natalie, thank you for the phone call. Always appreciate you listening and calling in. Chris has had an amazing career. From Mexico to Japan to ECW to WCW to the WWE to AEW and any other place he's worked. Chris is one of those journeymen. He's been around the world and back. He's main evented everywhere. And he was the first AEW world champion. He helped put AEW on the map. Tony Khan wanted Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho should not end his career anywhere else but the WWE, where he can get the send-off that he has earned. Not deserves, that he has earned. Maybe a last match at WrestleMania. Definitely a Hall of Fame induction, where I have predicted many times he will not show up to the Hall of Fame induction. He will pull an Axl Rose and no-show. Because nobody has ever done that before. And Jericho has the balls to do it. Toledo! Holy Toledo! Cody, what's going on, buddy? Do you want to see Chris Jericho back in the WWE?
Hey, Uncle Bully. Look, if I had to give a yes or no, I would say no, and here's kind of why. The WWE already has a veteran roster. They got a lot of old guys already. And, after watching NXT tonight, man, I just want those couple of those guys to be called up. And I think I'd rather see some youth. It's not that I would dislike seeing Jericho back in WWE, but if I had to pick between, youth or Jericho, I would pick youth.
But what are you talking? Do you like the youth because of the amount of action in a match, or do you like the youth for other reasons? Because when it comes to everything else, Jericho trumps all of the youth.
Yeah, the action in the match. I just think. I think NXT is crushing it, and I think a couple of these guys are kind of overdue to come to the main roster. Ethan Page is really sweet. Trick Williams, I think he's kind of ready.
Listen, Trick has done a phenomenal job. Ethan is so entertaining as a heel. And I know you're not supposed to be entertaining as a heel, but in the world of the WWE, it doesn't matter anymore. Everything is it real? Is it unreal? So yes, I do think those guys are prepared to make a run for it on the main roster. But much like I said about Roxanne Perez about a year ago, I don't want to see them moved up to the main roster unless they have something definitive for them on the main roster, because it's very easy to get lost in the shuffle. Thanks, Cody. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate the call. San Antonio, Mario, are you still in the car, buddy?
Still in the car, Uncle Bully, and I'm glad we have Busted Open Pro Wrestling 24/7, because that's all I've been listening to.
Well, thanks for listening to Mario. So what do you think? Jericho, do you want to see him back in the WWE?
I'm going to say no, but for a different reason. I think if he goes to WWE, we're going to lose all the Fozzy concerts and the Jericho cruise. Because, if WWE doesn't make it, they don't want to pull it over.
Here's the thing. Jericho is a very good chess player. And I do think that some things will be important to him. If he has to lose the cruise, he might be willing to do that because he can always pick it back up once the WWE run is over. And is it really that horrible for the cruise to go away for about a year or two? I mean, sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder, and the return of the Jericho cruise could be a very big deal. When it comes to Fozzy, I think he's going to want to continue to do that. I think the WWE might welcome that. And listen, Jericho and Hunter have one thing in common, and that's their love of rock and metal. Hunter, if anybody, probably understands what it's like for Jericho to go out there and have a rock and roll band. Listen, we all went to go see Motorhead together. We were all friends with Lemmy. We're all rockers. So I think Jericho might be able to negotiate both. It's how bad the WWE wants him. And the WWE is not stupid. They know that taking Chris Jericho away from AEW is a major hit to AEW. It really is. And me and LaGreca and Mario, thank you very much for the phone call. There's this big argument on social media of whether or not AEW is competition for the WWE. And why the WWE continues to do counter-programming. I believe that the WWE has learned. And they learned from their two biggest mistakes ever. One being WCW. And Eric Bischoff kicking their ass for 83 weeks. And almost taking the WWE out. I believe they also learned from AEW kicking NXT's ass in the ratings for about a year or however long it was that they went head to head. It's not so much about the competition as it is the potential for competition. Right now, AEW is not competition for the WWE. They don't look at them as direct competition. However, the WWE will make sure that AEW can never become competition again. That's why they counter program. That's why they do counter shows. So AEW doesn't have the chance to catch steam again. But this is business, folks. It doesn't just go on in the world of professional wrestling. It goes on everywhere in the world of business. You might not hear about it because it's not right in your face. As wrestling fans, it's right there in your face. You're on social media. You hear this shit every single day. The WWE is going to make sure that nobody is in position to take them down or out in any way, shape, or form, even on a small scale. So AEW just needs to do what it's doing and stay in its lane and keep doing the absolute best they can.